Pat Show is neither affiliated nor with the New England Patriots nor the NFL. That was two nors, whatever. Shut your mouths. I'm still hungover from Sunday. It is what it is. And it is time for all of us to stroke our Brady boners after that Brady-Tastic performance of pure goatness. The only quarterback other than Warren Moon, 40 years old or more, with 400 yards and 3 touchdowns in a game. Somebody get me an ice pack, a cigarette, and a bologna sandwich. 447 yards, the most by a 40-year-old in a game ever. 3 touchdowns, nearly 140. Quarterback rating, holy smokes. Not to mention the fact, we'll preview Pat's Texans, the Electro Breakdown Zone, Hot Takedown, and of course, the one and only Jeff Howe from the Boston Herald, which is a newspaper, or so I hear. Without further ado, ladies and gentle friends, people of Pat's Nation, it's time for Pat's Show. Hit it, you humps!
1, 2, 3, 28. Wow! Let's go! Pat's Show! Let's go! Pat's Show! Let's talk about Brady and Edelman! Talk about Gronk and the Kentucky Dead! Talk about Atlanta and the Lonely! Let's talk about Belichick and his team! Let's go! Pat's Show! Let's go! Pat's Show! Let's go! Pat's Show! Let's go! Pat's Show!
Ladies and gentle friends, people of Patriots Nation, Pat's pals, pigskin people, football freaks, and gridiron geeks, welcome to Pat's Show. Following week 2, the Patriots defeating the Saints in preview of Patriots Texans. I'm your old pal, Fitzy, Nick Stevens, of course, joined by the minister of Pat's propaganda, the one and only Mike Dussault, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
What a show we got lined up for you this week. Like we said, we're going to bask in the Brady-gasms. We're going to talk about Gronk, do a hot takedown of everyone who thinks it's time to move on from the big 87, preview Patriots, Texans, and so much more. But joining us now on the phone, live via the magic of Alexander Graham Bell and the good people of Motorola and Verizon Wireless, we give you our favorite beat reporter. Here is one of your favorite follows, at Jeff P. Howe, with the inside scoop from Foxborough, a man who I may or may not have gotten kicked out of press boxes all across the NFL this past Sunday. Jeff Howe, everybody. Jeff Howe, welcome to Pat's Show. Hey, how about that intro, huh?
Oh, that was great. I'll text in the mail.
So, yeah, sorry about the Gronk video and maybe or maybe not getting you in trouble in the press box on Sunday. But hey, you got to know your sources, right?
I'm usually laughing at something pretty stupid on the internet post-game anyway. So the fact that I put on the headphones and just kind of laughed by myself was kind of funny enough. But then I'm just sitting around because it's silent. Because that's when people actually try to do a little work. And I kind of imagine what it would have been like if I had the volume all the way up. And, the funny thing was, you never know who's mic'd up during these games. So I clicked on your link, and I was like, oh, maybe Gronk was like sitting there, and he was like, oh, yeah, I pulled my groin, and then I hear the voiceover, and I
Not quite.
But would it have surprised you, and we'll play the video if you guys haven't seen it. It was a quick little video I posted to Instagram and Twitter where I said that Gronk was mic'd up. And it's so Gronk that even his brother retweeted it. And I just loved reading the series of things like, hey, wow, thanks for forwarding this link. Now I watched it in line at the grocery store. Or cool, my 4-year-old heard it. Awesome.
I mean, you can't trust anything on the internet these days.
No, that's right. And that is wow, you are a graduate cum laude from Segway Academy, because that's a perfect entree into talking about the injuries on the Patriots, what everyone, I read they literally had 19 different wide receivers come in yesterday. Dayton Jones, the former first-round draft pick out of UCLA, who kind of flamed out with the Packers, apparently was in for a workout. Who did you see down in Foxborough, and what are you hearing about who they may or may not bring in to shore up the receiver injuries and the defensive line?
Well, unfortunately, I was stuck in Atlanta all day on a long connection, so I didn't see anybody down in Foxborough yesterday. But I always liked the Dayton Jones name. I mean, he was solid at UCLA, and sometimes the Packers, when they move on from guys, they're similar to the Patriots. They don't always find success elsewhere, but that's a guy worth bringing in if you think you need a little more depth up front there. In terms of the wide receivers, look, I'll be honest. I mean, I just don't think you're going to bring in anybody off the street who would be able to come in and help unless they have some experience with the Patriots system. situation where if your veterans aren't good to go, you should probably start to think about the practice squad first and foremost, and anybody who was brought in yesterday or a week ago or anything like that, that's probably just like advanced scouting in case things go even further in the wrong direction in the injury department later in the season. So it's just crazy how kind of talked about this wide receiver group going into the start of the season as probably the best in the NFL. And then, here they are 2 weeks into it, and you're not entirely sure, outside of Brandon Cooks, who's 100% healthy, which guys are going to be good to go. Chris Hogan sounds pretty optimistic. We'll see how long it takes Amendola to get over this concussion. And, I don't think anybody really knows the severity of Dorsett's knee injury. It could be nothing. It could be something. We just don't know.
Yeah, there was a rumor that Taylor Price and Hartley Dykes were spotted at TF Green in Providence. Doug Gabriel, the bloated corpse of Doug Gabriel, anyone?
I mean, they like these speed guys. Maybe bring Bethan Johnson back.
Yeah, right. Hey, you know what? I've been reading on the internet for 15 years. We need a deep threat.
And now they've got three.
Jeff, you've been at the center of all the trials and tribulations of Malcolm Butler over the last year, and we saw him in a little bit of a reduced role this past weekend. He still ended up playing 75% of the snaps, but obviously this is a point that a lot of people want to talk about now. Is Malcolm Butler on the outs? Is he having a down season? I know you've been at the forefront of all of it. What's your impression of Butler's role with the team going forward and kind of his standing currently with the team?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a big story. I'm not entirely sure what the reasoning was for starting him on the bench. Maybe it was just, hey, you know what, time to wake up, time to play better in the game. I've said it a handful of times. He had the best training camp of any defensive player on the team, and it wasn't even close. Now, that didn't translate to the preseason. He didn't play well in the preseason. The opener wasn't great. Him and Chung, I gave Butler that touchdown on the pick play. Patrick Chung didn't help him out too much in terms of getting off that block. So, he's a guy who I'm not concerned about the next 14 weeks or anything. Maybe Bill Belichick just was trying to, again, get you to wake up just a little bit. But remember last season, too, there was a 4-week stretch. I think it was from about week 5 to week 8 when Logan Ryan didn't have much of a role on that defense. And Bill Belichick really wanted to get guys like Cyrus Jones, Jonathan Jones, Derrick Rowe, because he had basically just shown up a month earlier. Get those guys those reps to see what they could do in game action. It's one thing to see these guys on the practice field, but you want to see what they're capable of when it's live. And the plan all along was to eventually get Logan Ryan back into the mix in the second half of the season. That's ultimately what happened because Belichick never had to worry about Logan Ryan. And Ryan basically proved him right over the second half, but maybe it's something like that, or it could be something completely in the other direction, like a Jamie Collins situation where they would be willing to trade him if the price was met. But I quite frankly and honestly, I don't know what Bill Belichick's reasoning was for starting him on the bench. But until there is more clarity, or until Butler regains his role as the number 1 or number 2, just a starter, whatever, that's going to continue to be a storyline.
Yeah, we were talking in prep for the show about how I can't believe that even though the secondary showed improvements against the Saints, but the Saints are what they are, and the Chiefs are starting to look like a bit more of the class of the AFC. They're missing the tackling. Logan Ryan was probably the best tackling member of their secondary, maybe if not the best tackling cornerback in the NFL the last couple of years. A guy like Jonathan Jones is looking a hell of a lot better than advertised, and by advertised, I mean nobody has any idea who he is. And I was listening to the Bill Simmons podcast this morning where even he floated the idea of maybe an in-season Malcolm Butler trade to shore up deficiencies along maybe the defensive line, or what you said we all thought was going to be the strength, the wide receiver core, and now they're starting to be, they're rice paper thin there right now. You think he would ever trade him?
Look, the Jamie Collins trade was the most shocking thing I think I've ever seen while covering the team. It's my 9th season doing it. I grew up in the area, so I've got a long history of watching these guys up close and personal.
Yep.
There's been a lot of, there's depending on what age you are, maybe it's the Richard Seymour stuff, maybe it was Laurie Malloy, maybe it's, whatever. Bill Belichick will trade pretty much anybody. And I didn't think that this was something that they really they entertained the possibility of trading Butler to the Saints back in April, but the Saints never really negotiated in good faith during the draft. So it's something they had already considered. But on the other side of it, if things go well this season, they're also, I think they'd be happy to re-sign Butler. It's just those negotiations probably almost certainly won't happen until they get closer to free agency. And I've also even been told that the franchise tag isn't off the table for Butler, depending on how things shake out with Jimmy Garoppolo. So, I mean, it's talk about the widest range of a spectrum in terms of do you want to keep him or do you want to get rid of him. But if the Collins thing didn't happen last year, I'd be sitting here telling you right now, no, there's no chance in the world that they're going to trade Butler. But you just can't take anything off the table with Belichick. And the other thing is, I've been told time and time again that Butler has been a good soldier down there, and he understands full well the business aspects of the game. And usually it takes a hard lesson for guys to learn that. And it happened this offseason with the Gilmore deal. And I think Butler knows, rightly so, and credit to him, that if he shows up and he does his business and he does it quietly and team-first attitude, he's going to get a huge contract next offseason, regardless of where it comes from. So I was told that there was nothing off-kilter with him after the game on Sunday. He had a huge contingent of friends and family. The mayor of Vicksburg, his hometown, was in attendance for the game. And so it was probably a little awkward to not be able to start in front of that group. But, I mean, again, he is not a guy that I would be concerned about over the final 14 weeks and then some if he does, in fact, remain with the Patriots through the duration of this contract.
All right, Jeff, last question. This is, you're probably, what you might be most famous for is the picture you took of Bill Belichick drinking orange juice. I think it was back in 2015. I'm curious, when you clicked that picture, did you have any idea that it would become what it became? It kind of looks like Kermit sipping tea. It's been put on T-shirts and memes everywhere. Tell us a little bit about taking that picture and what's happened with it.
Yeah, that was wild. I had no idea. I mean, I knew when I took it. Look, I'm not a photographer. I can't appreciate art on a cell phone or anything like that. But I knew when I took it that it was a great picture. And then you never know what's going to blow up on the internet. Clearly, that has taken on a life of its own. But I just sat down at the table at the owners' meetings out in, I don't know, maybe Arizona or wherever we happen to be. And he walks in with the orange juice, and I'm like, this is going to be good. Trying to take that picture. And then the next year, knowing that how much that has blown up, I'm like, oh, man, I hope there's another orange juice there. And then he sits down, and he's got his cup of water, and I got, like, the exact same shot a year later. So it was the biggest disappointment of the owners' meeting in March this past year was that Bill Belichick didn't talk to us because I wasn't able to give you guys the third edition of that picture.
It's amazing. You're a Patriots whisperer. You're the accidental Annie Leibovitz of Bill Belichick and Patriots personalities. You fight back against Felger. You keep it real. There's good insight and humor all the time. Appreciate the time. Jeff, people, you can find Jeff Howe on your internet. If you still read newspapers, God bless you too, and you should, because he's in the Herald on a regular basis. You can follow him on Twitter at Jeff P. Howe. You also have a podcast too, right?
Yes, I do. I have one of those. I tweet.
You got one of those too? Wow, man. They set you up with the deluxe plan, huh?
I got the greatest technology. I use my cell phone for that as well. So it's no stone unturned in the podcasting world.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us, Jeff. I appreciate it. I'll try to put disclaimers on any Twitter videos I put out in the near future. All right, man?
Please don't, because I eventually want to back myself into the most awkward situation possible.
Awesome.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks for joining us, Jeff. Take care, buddy. Good stuff. All right, man. Bye-bye. Jeff Howe from the Boston Herald, everybody. Wow, that was actually
great.
like legitimate insight.
I know.
And
what's happened to us?
Patriot Foxborough football front information. Like,
I know.
I don't know. I feel like we got to like
we
do
gotta
a stupid dance or something. Now, or like, I'm not really.
We need a Brady dance right now.
That was fantastic. All right,
plenty coming.
Now I guess we got the word, so wouldn't surprise anybody if Butler got traded. I heard that this morning, just floated out on the Bill Simmons podcast. Nobody wants to see Butler get traded. He says, like, you could go from, like, it wouldn't surprise anyone if Butler gets traded all the way to the franchise tag could still be on the table. and they know he's going to get a big deal. So
Let's just let it go and just see what happens.
That's the perfect thing to do. Like, again, we could worry ourselves about Gronk's health. We could worry about everybody else under the blue tent right now. We could freak out about Malcolm Butler. Or we could actually just try to be halfway decent football fans and enjoy the fact that the Patriots just went on the road, covered the over. Told you, if you got it at 55, you're welcome. And, covered the spread, doubled the spread up. The offense looked great. And though it was by many stretches, a quintessentially Belichickian early season defensive performance, at the same time, they limited the Saints, one of the best offenses with one of the most accurate quarterbacks and a dangerous array of receivers and running backs, to 20 points in their house, in their home opener.
Yeah.
Walk away, takeaway, I'm pretty impressed.
Yeah, everything. The Patriots got back on track, I feel like, in all three phases of the game. You had, and I'll start with special teams because, missing Nate Ebner, missing Matthew Slater. I mean, those are underrated players that, often go under the radar. The special teams, they had a couple of runbacks I felt were a little long, but, there weren't any big plays in special teams. And the offense looked like the offense. Brady was, targeting James White. We saw plenty of that. Rex Burkhead, which we'll get into in the electro breakdown zone. The offense just Gillislee coming through and when they needed him. It just looked like the Patriots offense. They looked out of sync against the Chiefs. This is what we come to expect, what we saw out of the Saints. And then defensively, it wasn't perfect, but I mean, when you hold the Saints to 13 points in New Orleans,
right.
That goes a long way. Going into the game, it was don't worry about how many big plays they give up, just worry about getting the win. But to give up 20 points, get the win, everything felt pretty good outside of the injuries.
Butler got involved in a pick play in the end zone where Tony Romo, who everybody could, one of the top 3 topics Sunday in social media for the Patriots was everything Romo.
Yeah.
And unbelievable. I actually got the questions right here.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Here we go. Thank you, Ms. Aaron, with the questions right now. Yes, they appreciate the fact that we hum the theme song. Awesome. Appreciate that. Okay. Pat's pal Scott Bilotta wants to know on the Butler subject. Fair question. Are we still in awe over Butler's heroics in Super Bowl 49, or should, as fans, or should we consider that maybe it's time to move on from him? Thank you very much, Ms. Aaron. I don't think it's time. Again, I think this is one of those deals where, he's going to have his ups and downs. Look, he got burned by Taylor Gabriel bad in Super Bowl 51.
Yeah.
Eric Decker used to actually kind of borrow half of Malcolm Butler's sandwich. He didn't eat his whole lunch, but he would take half his sandwich and be like, hey, you still got half. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Sunday, he gets involved in the pick route. But then he comes back and makes a huge first down pass breakup on a completion over the middle.
Yeah.
He dings up Michael Thomas. Butler's not like Chris Harris. He's a little more Aqib Talib. He may be a step behind, but he's very physical.
Yeah. And
I think he's an important member of the defense. I don't want to see. Look, Belichick trades everyone, like Jeff Howe said. But we got to hold on to him.
Right. Yeah, and Butler's far surpassed, what we thought of him when he made that play, I think, in the Super Bowl, which is a great play. But he's proven himself as a top corner in this league.
Right.
He's aggressive. I think he probably does have some limitations that, maybe sometimes we sweep under the rug a little bit. But I also think that he's physical, he's engaged, he brings great energy to the defense, and he's a great tackler. And I think the tackling has really been on display here. Even though he's kind of had some periods, some rough patches early in the season, his tackling has still been, overall pretty solid.
Yeah. Look, Malcolm Butler is not the biggest problem that they have on the defense. Stephon Gilmore so far, the returns on the $13 million per season, man, not so much.
It's those pick routes.
Eric Rowe's up and down. Jonathan Jones, like we talked about with Jeff real quick, that kid looks great. He's in on plays, he's getting his hands in there. He's in the right spot. There's good hustle back there. And, like you said, talk about just if bend but don't break was like a cologne. The Patriots were just spraying it all over themselves and all over the secondary Sunday. And I was fine with that because the 1 or 2 plays where they got burned deep. One was an amazing catch by Coleman. Or there's 3 times. It was an awesome catch by Thomas.
Busted coverage.
And the Kamara catch over Sean. They're 3 perfectly thrown balls by one of the best deep ball throwers, one of the best QBs in football. What are you going to do about Drew Brees getting a couple plays in? Yeah,
and Belichick talked about, we were talking about the rub routes, the pick routes, where they're using a bunch formation with 2 guys at the line of scrimmage, and not specifically to target Stephon Gilmore, but it has been kind of his side of the field, whether they've had him on the line of scrimmage where he hasn't quite been able to hold his ground and kind of jam that, like we saw Brandon Browner do in the Super Bowl in that play we just brought up. Whether they had him off, he was getting lost a little bit. So I think those are communication issues, and we've only seen 2 games out of Gilmore. So I think, and I don't think it's all on him. I think it's an overall kind of defensive issue.
Right.
But one thing I will say too that I really feel we need to point out is Dietrich Wise and Adam Butler, 2 rookies who are just
These
causing
guys
total
were
disruption. Huge.
Huge. I mean, Adam Butler, he was an undrafted free agent.
Undrafted
He's an
free
UFA?
agent. Yeah.
Right, so
A doofa.
He was a doofa. Doofa. Who are you? I'm a doofa.
A doofa.
You need to tell the truth, a doofa. So we have a doofa Butler coming in.
Yeah.
And then Dietrich Wise, who I think was a 4th-round draft.
Yep.
This kid has been, Mike Lombardi was all over him. I know Jeff and a bunch of other guys said this guy jumped off the field during the summertime, in the practice sessions, the joint practices, everything else. Thank you.
Oh, I got it.
Imagine if Rivers had not gotten hurt as well. I know.
Yeah.
Butts, candies, and nuts. The next question, should we be a bit worried about Gostkowski? He makes me a bit nervous now, but I don't want a Vinatierium gesture.
Vinatierium.
First of all, Vinatieri got put out to pasture way too soon. Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
Good thing
Well, he
Belichick-
went to a dome, so
Yeah, he did go to a dome, but like, but he's like 50 and still kicking well.
Yeah.
He's in the right
Gostkowski.
right spot financially. But yeah, he says like, oh, it was just a matter of me kicking it too hard. All right.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's just like if
You
I
can
got
kick
pulled
it too
over
far?
speeding.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, officer. It was just a matter of me driving too fast. Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
I get it, but it's clanging a couple of extra points.
It's like the ultimate irony that the Patriots introduced the rule to move the kickoffs back, to move the field goal, the extra points back.
Don't go to 2015. Why do it?
Yeah, and we're going to go there for a second. And then he donks one in the AFC Championship, and there's been a few more. There was one obviously in the Super Bowl, which was kind of like that one. We're like, we're coming back. Well, we don't have it today. We don't have
And now
it today.
they've mic'd up the friggin' goalpost, so like the the carom is that much louder.
Yeah.
Like last night.
Feel shame.
Last night, I think, was it last night or maybe Sunday at some point? Oh, I think Will Lutz, the kicker for the Saints, missed a 49-yarder, and it clanked off the right goalpost, and it was loud as hell, and they have it mic'd up. So it just rubs it in.
Humiliation.
That much more. Oh, but Matt Prater banged one off the goalpost last night against the Giants, and that dong, whatever.
So everybody's got problems. I mean, I think, honestly, a part of it is it's just more of a challenge on the extra points. And I think that's the spirit of why the Patriots introduced it. Unfortunately, it's biting them in the ass as much as anybody.
Introduced it, though.
Right, yeah, but it makes it interesting now. And now you're nervous on extra points. It's not like, yeah, go out there, Gostkowski, just kick that extra point.
Why can't we get pylon cameras? Why can't we get frickin' lasers? There'll never be any more out of bounds questions.
Yeah.
You're in or you're out. That's it.
Well, we should probably move on to the.
Here we are talking about the fact that we wanted to celebrate the Patriots win. That we're excited about the fact that Brady threw for 450
He missed
yards.
an extra point!
Yeah, 302 yards in the first half, 3 touchdowns. Like an unstoppable machine. Like Brady wasn't a quarterback; he was like a perfect algorithm Sunday.
Yeah.
And here we are, wondering if Malcolm Butler's going to get traded and pissing and moaning about Gostkowski and extra points.
Yeah.
Oh, we're such Pats fans. I can't stand it. Thanks for sucking. Just when you think you're in the land of positivity, they pull you back in. Little Godfather 3 there for you. On the whole, super happy about it. I know we'll get to Gronk in a minute.
Yeah.
The wide, like Jeff had mentioned a few minutes ago too, like in the summertime, everybody thought like Patriots wide receiver core, Edelman, Dola, Hogan, Cooks, Money Mitch. How's Andrew Hawkins going to make this team? What are they going to do with Austin Carr? All these other guys.
Use him now, yeah.
Oh God, you think we could use him now?
Yeah.
They'll find a way to get through it. I mean, this is what they do, and I think we saw what we were talking about in the preseason Sunday. Loved me, like just like loved me, like with barbecue sauce stuck underneath my fingernails. Mwah, so delicious seeing the running back attack. And all of its diversity.
Starting to look like what we
Lewis
thought it
over
would.
here, James White on the swing pass. The 19-yard little floater over Burkhead to Burkhead was just gorgeous.
It's your boy. Your boy
Oh,
came through. We're going to put him on the breakdown zone in a second.
Till I'm Burke dead. I love it.
Yeah, it's
Love it.
It all looked great, but somehow we feel like we're already at that point that the Patriots season seems to inevitably meet where it's like, all right, if we can just get everybody healthy for January. I mean, here we are week 2, and we're now like, let's just hope everybody's healthy for January. So they'll limp through it. They'll be okay, I think, but
this is what they do. So, so Hogan's limping. And we don't know if Amendola is going to be out there this week. We'll get the practice report. And, yes, I know Belichick is very excited to get that to us, and we're super excited about that. Can't wait to get it to you. So who knows if Dola is going to be out there. We're excited to hear that Donta Hightower isn't as banged up as we thought he was going to be. Because you read James Andrews and insert your favorite player's name here, and you're like, well, I can go ahead and just conveniently put that jersey away for the year and just find somebody else to wear. They're already way banged up. Like you've said, this is one of those, maybe those injury years.
Yeah.
And this is one of the many topics that was covered on Sunday in a very, very active and highly participatory social media Sunday. So why don't we actually go around the wide world of Twitter, Instagram, and everything you guys had to say with our favorite segment, the best of Pat's Tweedia. Yeah. Pat's Tweedia. Pat's Tweedia. All right. Right off the bat, of course, when Gronk, who they fed early and often because it had to be a big Gronk day, and this is the way we would love to see the season go. Immediately, Gronk gets a little dinged up. This was even before the game. This was leading into a pregame.
Yeah.
From NFL draft bites. Rumblings around the league. Gronk might be done. Pats have worked to protect him physically, Did it look like he lost his power and explosiveness Sunday when Brady floated him a bomb, juked a guy, and then shook off another for the 56-yard touchdown?
Maybe Chad Forbes thinks so. I don't know. I did not.
Right. It's just, I'll bite my
Plenty of
tongue.
Gronk coming.
There's plenty of Gronk to come, so long as his groin, the most coveted groin in New England, is okay. Next we had, let's see, next up on the Tweetsylvania there, we had Brady running out into the field. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
And the reception that Brady got in New Orleans was veritably Foxborough-esque. I heard that it was like being in Gillette, that it was louder for Pats fans because you're in the dome and the noise wasn't escaping. God, I could just like, how could you get tired of that ass, Takashi? So glorious. And they run down in the end zone, check in with everyone. And look at the fans.
I want to be the guy one time, who waits for him and he just comes to me and like we look at each other pregame and we're like, we're going to do this together today, Tom.
All right, now we're going to play for you, hopefully with audio, the video that we mentioned earlier with Jeff Howe. I saw Gronk's injury replayed over and over on social media. So like the professional jackass and half-ass that I am, I put a little bit of a VO to it. And this is what caught a lot of media members and Pats fans at family dinners, in line at grocery stores, off guard, because I labeled it clearly. Apparently, Gronk was mic'd up when he got injured versus the Saints. Let's hear it.
Ow, my
All right,
dick.
well, when Gronk went down there, what happened was I added the VO track yelling,
my dick.
"Oh, my dick," because it was a groin injury. So I duped people into thinking that is actually what happened. Can you imagine if, like, an hour after the game, we had audio of Gronk yelling, "Ow, my dick"? I can't believe that anybody fell for that.
NFL Films. And I mean, that's what you thought. You're like, whoa, NFL Films.
NFL Films. And
Chris
the best
Gronk liked
thing is what's awesome is that later, so Jeff Howe replied to it, other people get into it, and then Chris Gronkowski retweeted. Wow, got a lot of traction. Nice job. Of course, a Gronk is going to be like, brother.
Listen closely, like there's anything else to listen to.
That was awesome.
I missed
that
it,
made
Chris.
my day. I got a Gronk brother to retweet me.
You're in the
a dick
circle.
joke.
You're in the circle
That's
of trust now.
this is the closest I might ever get to the bus. This is great. Now, of course, I was talking about like enough of the Patriots getting hurt in this team. It's like it follows, but with injuries. And then a lot of people pointed out, and look, I don't buy into curse. I'm not a curse guy, but at the same time, like you wear the tiki necklace, and you end up having a Greg Brady surfing accident in Hawaii. Maybe there's a curse to it. The Madden curse. Is it literally coming for everybody?
I know. Well, Brady's on there, but that's somehow maybe like Alex Guerrero is also like rubbing the curse out of him, so it's just going to everybody else.
Is it like the black? It's like the Green Mile. He just belches the black. Everyone else has to absorb the sad and the sick. Next up, yes. How about Brady from Tom Brady's ego? Tom Brady out here refereeing and shit. Did you find it impressive that he was actually ahead of the refs? Like that drive where he threw the 2 interceptions, we're like, oh my God, what am I watching? Is this literally the upside down? And then
it was. He called the pick. He called the pick play was within 1 yard of the line of scrimmage, which was great for Philip Dorsett, paying attention. And then it was the other one where they got the too many men on the field. Like I mean, he knows he's a master right now. He knows everything that's going on and. He's like, refs, just listen to me. I got this.
And you wonder why they tried to suspend him 4 games over ball pressure, of football deflation. When the quarterback of the team, who already is richer than you as referee and who's handsomer than you and has everything better than you, when he's out there knowing the game and calling the rules better than the refs,
forget it.
He is never going to get a call ever again unless he's actually right like he was Sunday. Last couple little bits. The pass when Brady threw that one up there. That was pretty funny. I thought we traded
to no one. Yeah.
The one where he back-footed and just threw that rainbow.
Yeah. It's coming back, right? It's got to come back.
He would never do that.
He would never do that.
And what did you think about Romo? Because
I
I thought Romo
enjoyed
was
him.
pretty great.
Yeah, I enjoyed him. I mean, he obviously knows what's going on. He knows plays. I mean, it's look, it's better than the white noise machine that Phil Simms was, where I just would zone out and not hear anything
The
he
white
said.
noise machine.
You know, like that's
A
mute
football
it.
fan could buy a white noise machine, and he could just you could just comfortably set it to like a lot of people like to fall asleep to talk radio.
Yeah,
baseball.
Phil Simms
You could just
level.
get the Phil Simms white noise machine. Like, well, we talked about last week about the fact that they talked about it.
It's just John Gruden setting. You're like, I need the John Gruden
I gotta
setting
tell you,
tonight.
I like this guy. Last night on Monday Night Football, I like this Detroit Lions team, man. I tell you what, I like this team. I tell you what, they come out here and they tackle. They play tackle football. Well, no shit, John. What the hell else are they supposed to play? Unbelievable. Really? Spidered white tube banana.
Yeah.
Didn't hate the fact that after the game, Captain Freedom, Ben McAdoo, he looks like Jesse the Body Ventura in The Running Man.
Oh, I think he's the principal from Ferris Bueller. That's always my favorite
You
one.
Ed Rooney?
Yeah, Rooney.
9 times. Rooney.
And,
Grace.
that's my.
He threw Eli under the bus, which was
yeah.
awesome.
Well, who doesn't love that?
Who doesn't love that? Robert Kraft has added. Oh, so we've got Aircraft 1 and Aircraft 2, and now
Ambucraft.
Seriously, they got why don't they make all of Gillette Stadium out of the blue tent? They're all going to be so injured. They should seriously build a blue tent over the stadium. It's just going to happen, right? When everyone freaks out and comes at the beat writers like Jeff Howe, the wonks and the savants like you, and the hot take freak shows like me, like, what are we going to do about these injuries? Like, I don't.
keep going.
It's football.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
I know. Don't play him in critical situations. Yeah.
I want Gronk and bubble wrap till Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
Great. Well, then you're gonna be with Edelman out. You're gonna be 5-4, and then you're gonna
No
be
good.
pissing, moaning about the Dolphins being in first place. What do you want me to say? Any other last? This is my favorite picture. Only in Boston whipped this up. Did you ever see the Salt Bay meme?
No.
That's what Mookie Betts does.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
So
yeah.
there's this chef who did a tomahawk ribeye, and he salted it perfectly, dropping this rock salt down his arm, and they call that Salt Bay. So Only in Boston photoshopped Brady's head on there and did little football. Look.
They're little footballs.
Little footballs. That was my favorite picture. A very exciting social media Sunday. Big Pats win.
Very good.
Oh, it was good times.
Yeah.
Let's quickly take a look at your favorite play, an influential play from last Sunday. And what I know is the highlight of my Pat show and your Pat show week, of course.
Let's take it to the Electro Breakdown Zone.
Yeah. All right. We're
watching this
gonna take a look at the first Rex Burkhead touchdown. So I did Rex Burkhead for you because I know you're a big Rex Burkhead fan, and it is, this is
Smoking a margarita.
Yeah,
So
he looked
awesome.
good until his.
I had to listen to it in the car
Yeah.
too. I was late.
You imagine? Well, now we're gonna show you what it looked like.
I missed it. Show me what happened.
Well, a couple interesting things I think going on here that to illustrate, and it's something we've kind of talked about before, is that out here wide we got James Devlin, which is just a thing that the Patriots keep doing. Tony Romo talked about it a little bit during the broadcast, where they're going to split a fullback wide. Later in the game, they actually threw it to him, which I just thought was great.
Right, which I thought was great too. They validated that by actually throwing him one.
Totally.
It was 5 yards, but
hey,
now you got to respect it.
Cornerback, have fun tackling James Devlin out in space. But it just shows what they do when they roll heavy personnel out there. It's 2 running backs and 3 wide receivers. So mostly defenses are going to think, they're going to run it right at us. Instead, it goes to spread offense. So what happens here is you end up getting Burkhead, who they split out into the slot, and people are like, is he a slot receiver now? But I do think that this is how they're going to kind of replace Julian Edelman. But what ends up happening here is that the center safety, he's watching Gronkowski. He's going to double team Gronk as Gronk comes off the line. Yes, correct.
Okay. He had a tough game. So.
He did. He got benched and everything. So Gronk's going to come up and run through. So basically what that's going to do is we're going to leave Rex Burkhead running right by a rookie linebacker right here, Alec Anzalone, and Brady just lofts the perfect pass right into him.
Anzalone, what are you doing? You got the Burkhead out there. Come on. Anzalone, come on. Vaccaro, he didn't know cover. Now Anzalone.
Too many Italians, I guess, but
Who's Italian?
I know, right? But it just illustrates how the Patriots can play matchups. They can get a linebacker matched up on Burkhead with plenty of space for Brady to throw it. And now, Nick, this is actually how it unfolded.
I'll tell you, Mike,
right
with
here.
my boy Burkhead here, like you said a minute ago, like they put him in the slot. They've already had him out wide, and they also handed him the ball a couple times. Now, I know he got a rib injury, and he was playing special teams later in the game.
Yeah, so it's a good sign.
Not an offense. That was a great sign about people that are worried about Burkhead's injury. But if he can do this, and then you got him split out here, and then he's running between the tackles, that means, like you said, with the Devlin pass, you have to respect every place he goes. Now, let's just watch.
We're going to put him back. We're going to put him back in position here, and here we go.
Wrong way.
Whoa, Rex! Rex!
Rex, wrong way.
A lot of our guys are going backwards today, but we'll just say, hey.
Brady is so confident in the game plan, he's going to run a reverse backwards end around with lightning goat speed, putting that 5-4-1
There we go.
khaki combine.
More chaos. More chaos in the electro breakdown zone.
And as we saw, it was actually you guys over here.
You guys over here,
Like and you over here,
touch
and he threw the
6.
ball here.
6.
And then I'm in the car.
Yeah,
and
going,
I'm like,
it's my boy!
And then my
It's
wife's
my
like,
boy!
what are you doing? You're scaring the kids. They're sleeping. And I'm like, this is a Burkhead touchdown. What do you want me to do? I don't know which camera to look at. God, do I love that. See,
stuff.
the
Good stuff.
unpredictable. See, I think the electro breakdown zone is so Patriots because the way that it reenacts the play for us is as unpredictable as the Patriots offense.
right?
Like,
Yeah.
were you surprised yesterday when you heard, I read yesterday on Twitter, Brady let sneak, he was doing the CBS This Morning thing, talking concussions, and there's, the TB12 book is out now, which we'll read from next week, and we're all super excited for you to bring it in and the pages to be stuck together.
I think
What are you talking about? Reads it alone, but up at night, you're under the sheets with a flashlight, like, oh yeah.
Pliability,
Oh,
baby.
Tommy.
Pliability.
I'll give
It's
you
all
the
about
TB12.
pliability.
The TB12 method is Mike reading that book. And everyone else goes to sleep. They have 1,000 pass plays in there.
Yeah, I believe it.
1,000 pass plays.
A lot of it is concepts, so it's like both spots, and it's all right. We're gonna these two guys are gonna run this two-man route concept, and so that makes it a little bit easier to digest. So I don't think it's quite as complicated as it sounds, but but it's certainly it's a lot. It's a lot for a new guy walking in 2 weeks ago to be like, here's the playbook.
And they're going to need all of those 1,000 pass plays and all of the best efforts of everyone who's dinged up at receiver, the running backs, and more when they take on the Texans, which we'll preview in a quick moment. But we just got to get this off our chest real quick. This is where we have our little hot takedown. And, of course, the hot takedown this week, one of my favorite segments in the show, is brought to you by our friends over at Rockin' and Roastin' Coffee. That's the coffee of Joey Kramer. Have you had it before? Awesome.
I've had plenty of Aerosmith. That's
right. That's right. You can actually taste the sweat of Steven Tyler's chin in every cup. It's delicious. Joe. Honestly, it's brewed with Joe Perry's, like the discarded finger skin from his guitar. They actually scrape it right off the bridge and put it in there.
You're really selling it.
Yeah, right through the drum skin. Oh, it's freaking delicious, man. Visit rockinandroastin.com right now and use the promo code PATSHOW. PATSHOW for free shipping and 15% off your next order. Rockin' and Roastin' Coffee. Rockinandroastin.com. Pacho, 15% off your best order. Look at us with a sponsor and shit.
know.
How
Here we
about
go.
that, huh?
Here we go. We're off.
We bona fide, Daddy.
We are bona
That
fide.
Patriot show on the Facebook, they bona fide. All right, let's get to this week's hot takedown, all right? The hot takedown.
Hot takedown.
Hot takedown. Oh, waitress, one hot takedown, please. Okay, so real quick. Everybody, the whole Gronk thing, about the fact that they fed Gronk early and often, and then he got dinged up, and there was the play and the joke. I think Scott Zolak put it best right here. Here's 87 getting poked and prodded 8 yards down the field again on a no call for assholes that think he's lost his step. Idiots. It's also the most Scott Zolak thing ever. God, I love you, Zoe. Because
floating period.
The floating period between none here, this one here, over that. It's perfect. Because he tweets like he feels. He's so passionate on the show and in the booth.
Yeah.
But he's right. I tweeted out after the game that Patriots fans who say it's time to move on from Gronk or that he's too soft don't deserve to be able to root for maybe the best tight end in the history of football. Somebody that's as awesome as Gronk. Like, what are you going to do, Mike? He's 6'6", 275.
He's going to get
the
hit.
Size of a tackle from the 80s, like the way offensive linemen used to be. But he runs with wide receiver speed and reckless abandon on every play. He's going to get hurt, period.
Yeah. No, well, Alex Guerrero might have something to say about that, Nick, now. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that Alex Guerrero is like, as we speak, he's in on that groin. Really.
He's literally
he's getting that groin.
in on that groin.
He is getting
Gonna get on that groin. Listen, you thought
the TB12 method, guys. I live it every night now with my book.
I don't want the tenderloin. Give me the Gronk groin. Holy smokes. No, but seriously, maybe Guerrero's down there doing some Miyagi hand action this week. This is just what's going to happen. The deal is this. He was injured in college. He's had multiple back surgeries. He's a Franken Gronk at this point right now. This is what you're going to get. So when he pulls up lame or when he gets hurt, You got to be happy with 10 games, maybe 12. Who knows? But he also said he's day-to-day and he's fine. And you know what? I bet he'll be out there Sunday against the Texans.
I hope he is. I mean, it sure would help. We'll see.
Sure would help. Like, hey, Brian Cushing, how are you going to sleep this week knowing you have to worry about Jacob Hollister?
He's going to sleep fine because he's suspended.
Is he really? Awesome, even better.
You get caught.
That's called show prep.
PEDs.
Yeah, that's called. Speaking of which, quick preview on Pat's show of Patriots-Texans.
Yeah.
How do you see this one shaking out? Because I think I have a surprise pick for either, not like player of the game or like key components. So
be a good test for the offensive line, I think.
Okay.
And but I think again, do the same thing you did last week. Use the running back short. There's no need to try to force the issue. And I think with DeAndre Hopkins, you kind of want to see how they do with the deep ball. You're obviously not going to have you're going to have a rookie quarterback you're going against. So trying to play the deep balls and not giving up those. But again, here we go. The Texans, they know the Patriots as well as anybody. They know what kind of game it takes to beat them. I think the Patriots will be okay. This is, seems like one of those matchups.
It does. And we read about in Sports Illustrated the whole diamond front and how the Houston Texans could be the key to taking down the Patriots in the AFC. And we all remember the divisional round game where if Brock Osweiler didn't play like Cocksuckweiler, there's a very good chance that the Texans might have been able to even like tie that up. He was awful. He's the worst. He's so bad. Even Cleveland was like, "We'll pay you $16 million not to play for us." That's how bad you are.
It's like he had that one great half in the 2015 regular season where he beat the Patriots, came from behind at home, and he's just been living off that ever since.
Seriously.
And the refs too.
Like he's the high school quarterback who had one great game and still running around like in his 40s trying to bang chicks.
Still getting paid by 3 teams.
He's like McConaughey. He's like the quarterback version of McConaughey in Days.
All right. I
just keep on Livin. Look, I agree with you. I think don't look for the Patriots to be putting up the 30s. I think they're actually like a 12-point favorite heading into the game Sunday. I'm not in on the Pats and over. I'm not even sure that they necessarily cover. But I don't need them to. I just want them to win right now. They're so banged up. Tough defensive matchup. Here's my prediction. Awesome defensive effort from the Patriots this Sunday.
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
Look at this. Deshaun Watson making his second start. Second start's also on the road against Belichick, who's umpteen and maybe one against rookie quarterbacks in their first start against him. They just cut Jalen Strong, so you got DeAndre Hopkins, Lamar Miller, no C.J. Fedorowicz.
Will Fuller's hurt still, I think.
Will Fuller's hurt. So it's Braxton Miller and DeAndre Hopkins with Deshaun Watson on a second start against Bill Belichick with the Patriots defense kind of starting to get it together a little bit. I see. I'm going to look at this one. 23-10 Patriots.
Yeah, I'm going to say 34-12.
Hold on a second. What?
Yeah.
34-12.
I think it's a Brady.
Easy.
I think it's a Brady.
Whoa, it's several days till Sunday.
I think it's a Brady Boner game. I think the Texans have the pieces and know what it takes, but I don't think they have all the pieces just yet.
All right, well, I guess we'll find out when they play the game on Sunday. We're about to wrap up shop here on Pat's show. This is episode 106. Episode 6. Wow, 3 weeks into the season, man. It's so fun. Every week's a little bit different. We'll continue to have guests via the phone patch. We'll have them here in studio with us. Anytime you have comments like we've been fielding and reading here, Justin Shaw, hey guys, Pats fan in Buffalo, recently converted my girlfriend from being a Giants fan to a Pats fan. What's a good way to introduce her to the fandom?
Just show her Tom Brady. The TB12 book. It has pictures of him without a shirt on, and I would just say,
where do you begin?
She's in. She'll be all in.
39. Honestly, 3 games to glory. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
Do your job.
I think the first. To really appreciate it, start at the very beginning. It's a very good place to start. As
or
they
maybe
said, The Sound of Music.
Yeah, you can start from the beginning, or maybe just read up on PatsPropaganda.com and watch some Fitzy videos.
We got you.
Fitzy GFY. Any questions you have during the week as well, please hit us up. Share and rewatch, like the show, whatever. Mike is at Pat's Propaganda, and I'm your old pal Fitzy at Fitzy GFY. Before we go, we would like to leave you with our little moment of zen. Upon further review, the Marshawn Lynch dance from Sunday on the sideline against the Jets.
So good.
Yeah, this is so freaking good.
Makes me
I can't
happy.
believe people freaked out about this. Take a look. Dude, okay, I'm sorry.
Football.
You know what? That is just absolutely, Mike, one of those, like, when he does it on his, when it does it for you, you love it. when he does it against you.
Oh,
F
yeah,
that
you hate
guy.
it, yeah.
That was so freaking hot. Busting moves.
It's usually what I look like in the stand. Like, that's me during a game. Like, that's how I look. And, well, it's just football. I mean, now they've let celebrations come back, which is nice because it's fun. They should be having fun. Who cares if he's dancing? Poor Jets, whatever.
No, please, you can't spell Jets without jest, which is what they play every season. And I'll tell you what, just like with the NBA is better with good Knicks, good Lakers, and good Celtics. The NFL is more fun with an engaged beast mode, and he's having fun. And
Pats Raiders is going to be a good one.
Every week is more fun with victorious Patriots and Mike D and Fitzy here bringing the Pat Show. Holler at your boys. Go Pats, beat the Texans. We're on to Houston, and we'll see you next week. Hit that music.
1, 2, 3, 28. Wow! Let's go! Pat Show!
Yeah.
Let's